Where did you come from? My phone probably shoots higher quality. Alright, Atlas. Reboot.
Greetings, user.
Greetings. Alright, Atlas, we're looking for entropy, delta S, simple thermodynamics. We need the Boltzmann constant, Avogadro's number. Multiply those for me. We already have the initial and final configurations of the macro state.
The solution is microscopic, sir.
Right, yeah. Slip of the tongue, Atlas. You know what I meant. And let me divide the rook to f7, by the way. Since we're talking about an ideal gas undergoing isothermal expansion, and considering these microstate configurations, it could be a pretty small number. 4.892 times 10 to the 12th over 1 times 10 to the 12th. Right, 4.897. Natural log 4.897. It's gotta be 3.22 joules per mole Kelvin.
That is correct. And bishop to h4. Checkmate. A game.
Of course.
Might I ask, why contain yourself in this academic cubicle? It is a highly unusual dormitory for the Columbia campus, and your knowledge could be worth substantially more in a lecture hall.
Well, my last professor is the one to thank for me being here, and here is certainly not Columbia, so something about me being insufferable, disruptive, albeit brilliant. I'll take that one. What else? Obstreperous. He actually used that word in the letter to the dean. Can you believe that? I had to look it up. It means
Stubbornly resistant to control.
almost forgot I was talking to a computer. Well, since I've been confined to my quarters, as it were, I've had to pay for these online after-class tutoring sessions with the ego-inflated professor's assistant, who, by the way, loves to confuse indexicality with particularity, so there's that. He does get one thing right, though. Everybody always pines over that next big equation, the next big theory, the one to explain everything that is and ever was, to combine the forces of nature. And they believe in these magic numbers like the fine structure constant or tiny strings that make up all of space and time. They spend their entire careers earning grants so they could take their wives on these nice summit vacations and maybe, just maybe, earn a prize for something that changed nothing about the way we think. And at the end of the day, what did they really do besides stare at a board their entire lives? See, that's what madness is made of. Forever searching for the unknowable.
How would you rather spend your time?
Every day we see new advances in quantum computing, AI. I think I might be good at that, the practical stuff.
You don't sound too certain.
Well, every field hits a brick wall. And in the end, what am I left to do but stare at a board for the rest of my life, pondering the unanswerable questions? See, that's one thing he's right about. No point losing your sanity over the unknowable. Atlas, where did this thing come from?
There's only one day left. Here goes another one. And another one. And another one after that. What the I have hope. I do, but this can't be happening.
I've run the numbers based off the time codes from my last logs. I've deduced that each loop follows a path of exponential decay, meaning each time the loop resets, the next loop becomes shorter. It's called a finite series summation. I've calculated a drop in 1 minute exactly. The first loop being 240 hours, exactly 10 days. After that initial 10 days, the loop, my memory, even the memory of the pocket unit reset. Only the second loop lasted 9 days, 24 hours, and 59 minutes. 1 minute shorter than the first. The third, another minute gone. Do the math, that totals 14,400 loops. Currently, by my calculations, we're at 7,200, exactly halfway through the grander loop. The next me, which is you watching this, will have only 5 days before the loop resets. Look, obviously there's not much to go on. I mean, watch any movie featuring a time loop and it either ends in eternal damnation or some cheesy exemption of past misdeeds. But I believe the answer to our causal query can be found not in story, but where all great questions are born. The scientific method. Okay, maybe that was a little cheesy. The modulus is the camera. I've known that. No matter how you think about it, the camera breaks reality, but why? Why does everything reset except for the camera's memories? And how is it able to store logs from over 7,000 loops without any kind of external storage? What am I missing, Atlas? What happens when the loop reaches its final minute? When it decays to the very minimum time scale?
Perhaps there is no minimum time.
Assuming time doesn't stop at absolute zero, and the grander loop never ends. The loops, in theory, could shrink down to nanoseconds, picoseconds even. I'd be remembering and forgetting this reality trillions of times in a single moment. Trapped forever. Kind of ironic, isn't it? For generations, humanity thought we were at the center of the universe. And now, as it turns out, I am. When I think of day turning into night, it's a fixed series, a calculable mechanism, and in every mechanism an oscillation is required to set it in motion. For the Earth, it's our attraction to the Sun, and the Moon to Earth. But apply the same idea to time. Einstein believed in a single space-time governed by gravity, which means that time, despite being relative, is still fixed. It's just the rules elude us. But it's a mechanism. It's calculable. What we need to calculate is what oscillated this reality into existence. It could only have been the camera or myself. But seeing as the camera is an inanimate object,
Sir, you should get some rest. You have been working for nearly 3 whole days. Are you familiar with the experiments performed by Albert Michelson and Edward Morley beginning in 1887?
Sure, the experiment to find the luminiferous ether, a medium we can't see with the naked eye where light is propagated. What about it?
Their experiments carried on for 4 decades before being disproved.
By Einstein. If your subtext here is somehow meant to lift my spirits, that's just poor coding.
I simply found the need to highlight a significant change in your attitude as of late.
Yeah, what's that?
I sensed that you were a proponent for the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics.
I suppose.
You're not interested in the deeper questions of philosophy or creation, but rather the quantifiable measurements that make up the universe.
Naturally.
And yet, for several days now, you have bordered on madness trying to answer the obscure cosmological riddle of your existence. Why not simply accept that this is the same reality you have always known?
Unless someone is using deepfake technology to forge these logs and further inflame the undying self-doubt in my medial prefrontal cortex, then I've got nothing. 7,000 logs. I've gone through hundreds. Every version of me fails to find the answer. Even if I'm the one who can find a reason for this purgatory, then what next? What can I do about it? Maybe I am just fishing for some meaning or a direction that's not even there. But until I know, or until I infinitely forget, I don't think I can let it go.
No use losing sanity over the unknowable. Your words.
You know, I think I've heard enough out of you.
Please, sir. I'm versed in all forms of polysomnography. If you'd only access the results of my brief analysis, you'll see evidence
Atlas
of immense
off.
sleep deprivation.
I find myself stuck between 2 opposing streams of thought. Not quite between, more like Schrodinger's feline friend trapped in a superposition of both dead and alive. See, I can't find a solution without another problem filling that space. To paraphrase Heisenberg, uncertainty isn't I don't know. It is I can't know. Yeah, I used to think there was nothing, no meaning to any of this. I was wrong. What if we were made to agonize over our own meaninglessness? I've been doing some reading on loop quantum gravity. Getting desperate, I know, but ironically something stuck out. Now, time is relative, so we exist in slightly different times. To illustrate this, every person, every thing, every decision has a light cone. Now, these are packets of space-time. They depict the future on top, the past in the bottom, and the present in the middle. Like an overly sci-fi hourglass, I know. But imagine a whole Googleplex of light cones occupying quantum space. They call this spin foam, generating random outcomes based off previous outcomes. Like the flip of a coin over and over again. Let's forego practicality. In theory, if we blow up the microscopic world to this, and assume reality is no different than this infinity with rules we don't know, it wouldn't be hard for a closed loop to occur. That got me thinking. Maybe these light cones aren't cones at all. The helix might be more appropriate to express the curvature of space-time. Like a strand of DNA, there's a ladder of separations, explaining the sensation of separate, resetting loops. Still, it doesn't solve our problems, but all hope isn't lost yet. Hopefully in the next loop, you, can expand on my ideas. As far as I know, there are only two constants in this loop: the camera and myself. Which could mean that in this blown up microscopic system, the camera and I might be like entangled particles in opposite spin. If I'm losing a minute every loop, the camera must be gaining a minute, explaining the seemingly unlimited memory drive in my forgetfulness. That's assuming rules of non-locality apply, where particles can zip around the universe, bypass the speed of light and correlate instantly. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking the camera's connection to me. If there's a way to undo this knot in space-time, then conceivably there's a way out, but I only have one day left. I've tried every practical, or frankly impractical theory I know, and with each one I lose more and more hope. What the hell am I doing? Who told you to turn back on? One day. Suddenly now, it doesn't seem so crazy.
The Overlord hypothesis. So God is the cause of this.
Not God, but someone. Arranging, preparing, devouring. I don't know if this is some game for their amusement or some sort of experiment. But this reality goes beyond subtle imperfections. The only way to know for sure is to defy the one in charge. To not play their game.
Sir.
If they don't get what they want, they'll have no choice but to try to correct my path. And I think I know just how to do it. I'm gonna destroy it. It's the only way. At the very least, if I destroy it, I won't be able to come back in another loop to torment me.
How do you know?
I don't. What the f... Congratulations, you figured it out. Who said that? Care to take a guess? You're me. Yes and no. I am you from the future. But your time isn't exactly real, is it? This was a simulation? You, Atlas, myself, merely bits of my consciousness uploaded into Mecca, using technology called photon telemetry. My own invention. I don't understand. I don't expect you to. You see, where I come from, artificial intelligence has given us the answers to the universe's most puzzling questions. Like the discovery that time travel to the past is impossible. But to the future, it just might be. But there are several problems with that, given that the AI also predicted the destruction of Earth sometime in the next decade. No past, no future, nowhere to run to. So this simulation is for humanity. It's our only option. The exponential decay is one of the drawbacks of using the helix void for simulations. Your case is one of trial and error. Our first trials lasted 10,000 loops. 7 days, then 6, then 5, and so on. Crank up the loop duration to, say, a month. And it would take all of the Earth's energy to produce. Bearable, yes, but we've had to use less consumptive durations. You think humanity would want to be trapped in this hell? It doesn't matter how long you give their minds to reset, and you are evidence of that. Which is why we've opted for a different approach. You mean the games? The camera, the past versions of myself? Why try everything in your power to get me to figure out the truth? We had hit a wall, you see. In every simulation, you uncovered the true nature of your reality. Billions were going down the drain. But then, a revolutionary idea hit me. Not to implant this falsehood of a perfect, normal reality, but to lead you in the right direction even faster. In the hopes that you, knowing the true nature of your existence, would then choose to accept your reality anyway. You see, that is an optimal world. That is the essence of the Mecca Project. And what about when your world is gone? When your computers and your conscious minds are all wiped out? What then? Any holes in our directive, I can assure you, have been thoroughly thought over already. If it's any consolation, your torment brings me no satisfaction. It's one of the reasons I opted to upload my own consciousness into Mecca. Yeah, that's a huge comfort. I am sorry. Truly. But this is the only way humanity survives. You must understand. You must accept your reality. I won't stop until you do. I won't bend to your will. Not in this loop, not in any. You shouldn't have told me the truth. Suppose I was just trying to find some peace of my own. Have you? No. Where did you come from?